Hi, beautiful souls. It's Tan back here again today with you on this Astrology, Human Design, and Jinkies channel with another Human Design Projector video. And today we're going to be looking at... Sorry, I'm just moving my microphone around. Today we're going to be talking about what I eat as a projector in Human Design and some dietary health tips that I might have for you guys who are projectors out there. So I just want to say, first of all, that there's really no set diet for someone. Like, I can't, go into the specifics of this is what you should eat. This is what's good for you as a projector, because I don't see your body graph. And I'm also not really I haven't really studied, nutrition and human design very deeply in a way where I can look at someone else's body graph and be able to say, this is what you could be eating, this is how you could be eating. But I know that for myself, right? Oh, there's a blackbird eating fruits in the tree. They're so cute. I think it's a baby blackbird. But yeah, so there's really no... So I guess this video is just more generically speaking as a projector, like what could be some of my recommendations there. And we do have offered, on our website, a human design nutrition reading talking about diet and manifestation and human design, done by a human design guide and specialist on our team. So I highly recommend that you guys check out that offer that we have there if you're interested in knowing a little bit more about this topic. But yes, so as a projector, I am an energy projector. So that means I have motors defined in my body graph. So I think that might be a little bit different from maybe projectors who don't have motor in their body graph, because I do have energy. Like, I am able to generate my own energy, but not a lot. So the number one thing that I can say when it comes to projectors and diet is that as a projector, you have to eat consistently in human design. This is important. And this is what is not true for generators. 70% of the people in the world, they don't have to eat all the time, but projectors do. And so what I mean by this, and what I've noticed that happening in my life, is that when I am missing a meal, or when I am not eating when I'm hungry, is that my blood sugar level kind of drops and I get very nauseous, and I just have no energy. Like, I get very nauseous and I have no energy. That's what tends to happen. And so depending on whether you are a routine eater or whether you're not a routine eater, I'm a routine eater. And you can find that by looking at the top left arrow in your human design body graph. But yes, I'm a routine eater, and so I can't skip meals. And when I do, like I said, my blood sugar level drops. And when this happens, sometimes when I move quickly, like I'm sitting down and I'm getting up really quickly, I would just get very dizzy. That means that I need to eat. So as a projector in human design, make sure that you are getting enough food, because that's where your energy is going to come from the intake of food, not from something that you're generating inside yourself. And I'm an energy projector. So for those of you guys who are mental projectors or self-projected projectors or other kinds of projectors that don't have motors in your body graph, I think that this may be even more potent for you. But let me know in the comments below how you feel about this. So the next thing I want to discuss is, what exactly do I eat? So I am currently a vegetarian. I've stopped eating meat since the year 2017. And the reason I stopped eating meat didn't really have anything to do with my health or anything. It was more about the rights of animals and the fact that I didn't want to eat animals. And I found that oh my God, I love not eating meat much more than I was eating meat. And I'll tell you why. So before I became vegetarian, and I want to go like full on vegan at some point. I was vegan. So in 2017, I was vegan until 2019. 2019, I moved back to Thailand and made a lot of compromises in my life and was going through my Saturn return. And so I just couldn't keep up that vegetarian lifestyle. So I was the vegan lifestyle. So I just couldn't keep up the vegan lifestyle. So I decided to be vegetarian instead. So I was eating milk and dairy. So that's where I am at now. I'm like a vegetarian, but at some point I think I want to slowly transition into being vegan fully. What I can kind of, because I moved here to the Netherlands last year again, so I have to figure out like what would my situation be here if I were to be vegan, you know. But yeah, that's like eventually what I want to be able to do. But yeah, when I was eating meat, okay, this is not, like I said, this is not for every projector, but this was for me. When I was eating meat, the first thing that was not good for me was my digestion. I wouldn't be able to use the bathroom for number two. I would be constipated sometimes, and had to remind myself and ask myself, did I eat vegetables today? And if I asked myself, did I eat vegetables today and I didn't, then I would be like, oh, that's why I'm constipated today, you know? So I would have to make sure that I was eating or integrating some kind of vegetable or fiber into my diet. But still, I used to be somebody like before 2017 who didn't use the toilet for number two every day, and which I know that that may not be the healthiest, you know, for your intestines. And there was even a point when I was younger where I was really, really constipated and had to see a doctor about it. But that was the first thing that was happening there. The second thing was when I was eating meat was that my hair was different. Now my hair is like super long and shiny. But before, when I was still eating meat, I could never grow my hair longer than like this length, I guess. The moment it got a little bit longer than this, what would happen was that it would become very thin and it would start falling off, and it would have a lot of split ends, and it was just like really bad hair condition. So I had to keep cutting it. It just couldn't, and it didn't grow. It didn't even grow longer than that, but still had to keep cutting to maintain it. But when I stopped eating meat and was plant-based, especially the first 2 years of being full-on vegan, my hair was thick and could just keep growing and growing. And I was like, oh, wow. Like, I'm never going to go back to eating. Like, I don't want to eat meat again just because it's like, it's just nice, you know? So, that's another thing that I also wanted to let you guys know there. And of course, you know, for yourself, it's just about working out like what's best for you. And the other thing that I wanted to touch on this topic is caffeine. This consumption of caffeine is very tricky for projectors, because if you have to do, if you're working, whether that's like in a corporate setting or whether you're working for yourself, right? When it gets to the middle of the day, you might find that you have to make a decision about whether you should nap or you should just take a cup of coffee. So I used to be an English teacher, and I would have classes, like back-to-back classes for 6 or 7 or 8 hours in a row in one day. And I used to drink about 3 or 4 cups of coffee a day, because if I didn't, I would feel really sleepy and I wouldn't be able to teach, you know, because when you're teaching, you have to be really on it. And I was in a classroom filled with kids, right? So I had to be like, keep up my energy level. And, but that's the thing, like I would feel really, really sleepy during lunchtime. I would go to the cafeteria of the school and my head would be like on the table, and I was just like, I just wanted to sleep. And I guess I fell asleep a few times as well. I fell asleep a few times in the teacher's room, by the way, which is not nice. So I had to keep up my caffeine consumption. And what happened when I drink caffeine, and maybe some of you projectors will resonate with this, is that I go to the toilet more often. But when you're teaching a classroom full of kids, you couldn't go to the toilet. You couldn't always leave the classroom. And when I mean go to the toilet often, I mean like a lot. Like if I drink 1 cup of coffee, within the next 2 hours, I would probably use a toilet like 5 or 6 times. I would keep going to the toilet, right? And I couldn't do that when I was teaching. So I was in like this dilemma. Like I couldn't go to the toilet, but I had to continue drinking coffee or else I had no energy, but I couldn't go to the toilet. So I actually had a bladder infection because I was holding my bladder, and that was like infesting bacteria and things. And my bladder got infected from doing that. So that was just not a healthy lifestyle. And because of other things that was happening to me at that time, I stopped teaching English and decided to, run my own business and stuff. And like my lifestyle now is just a lot better because now I drink 1 cup of coffee a day. I think there was even a period, like maybe a few years ago, where I stopped drinking coffee in general. But now I drink 1 cup a day and I don't drink it in the morning. So I drink it at noon with my lunch, something like that, or maybe late afternoon or something like that, because I find that I do have energy in the morning. Right, I would wake up. I have a defined root and I have a defined solar plexus. So I wake up in the morning and I have some amount of energy that I don't need coffee at that point. But it's nice to have it in the middle of the day when I may need to do something, like do readings or have sessions with my team or do some art that I don't want to nap, because I'm just not gonna nap that day. So I would just drink a cup of coffee, and that's totally fine for me. Like that's not been a really bad influence on my bladder. And I guess and the coffee that I drink is black coffee, so I don't put sugar or anything in there. So it is in some ways can be benefiting for your health. So that's what I've come to with caffeine consumption. So yeah, since we are talking about health and diet, I want to touch a little bit on exercise as well for projectors. Um, and I think that this is different for all projectors, but in general, I would not recommend that if you are a projector, that you have intensive exercise. That might actually not be energizing or invigorating for a projector. But if it is for you, let me know in the comments below. I'd like to know about that, because I know that for some people, like generators, for example, when they go for a run, or something intensive like that, they get more energized. I have not found that to be true for me as a projector. But I don't know like how this would differ again for other kinds of projector, but as an energy projector, I do need some kind of movement within my day. So now what I do for exercises, sometimes I do yoga, and that's just yoga, like 20 minutes yoga, something pretty light. I mean, just depending on, what my goal is at that time in my life, and am I trying to build muscle or something? Or is it just like I just need to do it to relax? But within the 20 minutes of yoga, maybe it's a little bit more sweaty, but sometimes it's not so sweaty. And I would do something like work in my garden, which that does take a lot of energy to weed things in your garden, to move earth around. And because since moving to the Netherlands, we've been doing house renovations, there's a lot of physical things that have to be done. And so that's how I've been currently getting exercise, I would say. And that's not like too much. And for me, like the reason why I like to do like gardening or renovating the house is also because it's productive. Like I kind of feel like at the end of this exercise session, I'm gonna get something out of it. That is something that I do with exercise. Now, I also heard that there's a trick in which, as a projector, you may find that you do better with short bursts of exercise. So, for example, you do something very intensive for 4 minutes. I can't remember what the exact time was. And then you rest for like 30 seconds. And then you go and then you do it again for 4 or for 2 minutes. And then you rest for 30 seconds. So that might also be possible depending on your body graph and who you are. Oh, another thing you might want to consider as well is dance. And as a projector, it depends what kind of dancing you would like to do. But again, not something that should be very long and not too intensive. And I think the last thing I want to touch on here is getting energy as a projector. Like, how do I get energy? And I think that this is, again, different for every projector. But like I mentioned, I don't think that exercise is something that gives energy to a projector. So food is the first thing. Not something too heavy as well. Small meals throughout the day is what tends to work best for projector, although I have to say I am not doing that myself, but I should probably be doing. But I'm just having 3 meals a day and some snacks in between. Yeah, as a projector, it might not be great for you to eat like a really big meal as well, because then you have to spend energy to digest that meal as well. And that's what I've noticed as a projector, is that if I eat a very big meal, after that meal, I'm super sleepy. And maybe this is true for everybody, but for me, it's more elaborated. Like, I just don't want to get out of the chair, or I just want to lie on the sofa. I might even fall asleep as well. So that's what I've noticed. So meals that are smaller portions and maybe lighter meals like salads and things like that throughout the day. And then, of course, you want to have some proteins that go in there. And the thing about proteins is that proteins exist in all foods, okay? And proteins exist in all foods. You don't have to eat meat to get protein. You don't have to eat something heavy to get proteins. Broccoli has tremendous amounts of proteins in there. Vegetables have tremendous amounts of proteins in there. But yeah, so food is the number one thing to get energy as a projector, I feel. And I think, so for me, being an energy projector, having a defined route is that, like I said, I would wake up every morning and I have some energy to burn. That's just how my body works. But that energy kind of dies out by 12 p.m. every day. So that's how long it lasts. But it's there in the morning. So if you're an energy projector, maybe you have some kind of consistent energy flow or energy burst, and it could be beneficial to monitor what, when, and how that energy moves within you. It's going to be short, but it's there, right? Now, if you are not an energy projector, so you don't have defined motors and things in there, you may find that you get energy from, this is interesting, your environment. So either when you're in nature, when you're outside, oh my God, and you know what? The sun gives me a lot of energy. Like, I'm happy in the sun and I love to work outdoors. At my office, I've moved it outdoors this summer just because it gives me so much energy to be in nature, in the sun. That's definitely one thing. But also, like, being around the right people might also give you energy as well, meaning that, because if you're with a generator or you're with somebody with defined motors, you may take on those energies that they have, but you want to be able to, at the same time, have discernment for when you need to stop so that you don't actually burn out your system by borrowing energy from the people around you. And this is the thing about projectors, is as a projector, you're not meant to be alone the whole day, or even like, you're not meant to spend an entire week alone. That's not how a projector works. Projectors need to have energy. And this is not to say it's a bad thing, but it's the dynamics of aura and the dynamics of how we can benefit from each other, in the world, is that projectors can benefit from taking energies from other people. That doesn't harm the other person, by the way. Just to let you guys know, when I say like you take energy from others, that doesn't do anything to the other person. It's just that you are taking that on. Yeah, and I do find that this is something that doesn't happen very often. But like I said, if I'm outdoors, I may not need to drink that cup of coffee, in the afternoon or at lunch, just because I would feel energy. So I think maybe there's something about the air that you breathe. So when we talk about environment, like fresh air versus if you're indoors, and because projectors are very sensitive to their environment, feel how your space feels for you in terms of the air that you're taking in. If you get better oxygen, that could give you more energy, because when I'm outdoors, I'm definitely getting much more oxygen. Around trees, that's giving so much oxygen, and that gives a lot of energy. So that might be something there as well. And this is not really true for me, but maybe for some projectors, the weather or the temperature might affect your energy levels. But I think it could be said for all of us that if we're in warmer climates, it can make us a little bit more tired. And for me as well, like if I'm in an environment that's around 20 to 25 degrees, that just gives me a lot of energy to do things. But the moment it gets like 30 degrees, that's like very tiring to be in. But again, some people might get energy from the rain. Some people might get energy from like gloomier, darker days. Some people might get energy from sunny days like me. So it really depends. But yeah, I think that's it for what I wanted to share with you guys today, beautiful souls. If you have anything that you want to share, things that you want to add, do comment below and let us know what your experiences has been as a projector or as somebody who may be living with a projector. or has a projector in your life. And if you're interested in a human design nutrition manifestation reading, do check out our website. Cindy, who is an astrologer and human design guide on our team, is a specialist in this, and she would love to guide you on your path to being healthy and manifesting your dreams. So that's it for today, beautiful souls. I'll see you soon.